You know, there are some lessons in life you really only need to learn one time. Because once they click, once you truly get them, they change everything. So today, we're going to dive into those game-changing ideas, the ones that give you the power to stop just drifting along and start actually building the life you were meant to live. Let's just kick things off with this quote. This one really hits home, right? It speaks to that feeling we've all had of being stuck in a loop. We keep going back to the same job, the same kind of relationship, the same old mindset, hoping that this time it's going to be different. But here's our first big lesson. If the well is dry, you've got to find a new source of water. Real happiness, it usually requires a whole new map. And that's really the big question, isn't it? Are you ready to turn the page? Because just accepting that you might need a new map, that's the real first step. What we're going to talk about next are the tools you need to actually write that next chapter. So let's get into it. Okay, first up is what I like to call the awakening. This is that light bulb moment, that sudden realization that your life isn't just something that happens to you, it's something you actually have the power to design.
Just look at the choice this lays out for us, plain and simple. On one side, you've got the default plan, the one society or someone else has for you. And what does that usually add up to? Yeah, not much. But on the other side, you've got your plan, where you get to map out everything you want your life to be. It's such a powerful reminder that if you don't set your own destination, well, you'll just end up wherever the current takes you.
Now this is huge. It's a life-changing distinction to make. Life can be so unfair. Things happen to us that are absolutely not our fault. But this quote reminds us that while the wound isn't on you, the healing is your responsibility. And that's not a burden. That's where your power is. It's the exact moment you stop being a victim of your circumstances and you start being the architect of your own future. And this just nails the point, doesn't it? Time is the one thing we can't get more of. And man, it moves fast. You can either sit back and be a passenger while it all slips by, or you can grab the controls and decide exactly where you want to go. So this quote right here, it just perfectly wraps up what the awakening is all about. It's that massive shift from believing you're just a product of what happened to you to knowing you are a product of the decisions you make from here on out. It's about taking back the pen and writing your own story. Okay, so you've decided to grab the controls of your own life. Awesome. But what happens when you hit some turbulence? Well, that brings us to our second stage, the trial. This is where we learn that obstacles aren't just annoying detours on the path, they are the path. We have to totally reframe how we look at challenges. Think about it. A path with zero obstacles probably isn't leading anywhere that interesting. So instead of seeing them as these giant walls that are there to stop you, start seeing them as road signs. They're there to guide you, to show you where you need to get stronger, or maybe even pivot your direction. And this quote is asking for something that's, well, it's incredibly hard, right? To be patient when you're in pain. But it's a reminder that the struggles you're going through right now, they aren't just random. They're training. Every single challenge is building a muscle. It's forging a resilience that's going to serve you in ways you can't even imagine yet. Think about it. Really, every single story of great strength is also a story of massive adversity. It's the trials that shape us, that polish the gem. It's just a universal truth that hardship is the forge where character is built. And this takes that idea even deeper. Our scars aren't signs of weakness, not at all. They are proof that we faced our battles, that we healed, and that we are so much stronger for it. They're like a map of our own resilience. So, at the end of the day, the trial teaches us this one simple, powerful truth. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. That zone of safety, it feels good, for sure. But real life, the kind that's full of meaning and progress, it begins the second you take that brave step into the unknown. All right, so we've talked about taking control. We've talked about facing obstacles. Now, we've got to go inward, because the most important battles and the biggest breakthroughs, they all happen inside our own minds. Okay, this is such a cool way to think about things. Just imagine your future self, maybe 10 years from now, looking back at this very moment through their memories. What do they see? Are they proud of the choice you're about to make? When you start acting with that perspective, you start building a past that your future self will actually thank you for. So, how do you build that strong inner world? Well, it starts right here. It's about respecting yourself first, so others will follow. It's about caring more about who you really are, your character, than what people just think you are, your reputation. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of other people's opinions and, maybe the most important one, finally knowing that you are so much stronger than you give yourself credit for.
And honestly, isn't this the ultimate goal? To build such a strong, respectful, and interesting relationship with yourself that your own company becomes a source of peace and strength. All of a sudden, solitude is a choice, not a punishment. And this gets to a fundamental law of life, really. Your outer world is just a reflection of your inner world. The thoughts you feed your mind literally build your reality. You can't expect a beautiful garden of positive outcomes if you're planting seeds of negativity day after day. You change the thoughts, you change your world. It's that simple.
All right, we've done the internal work. We've woken up, we've faced our trials, we've strengthened our minds. So what's next? Our final section is all about turning that insight into real action. This is the path forward.
I love this metaphor. It's just perfect. A tree doesn't desperately cling to what's dead. It naturally lets go to make room for new growth. We have to do the exact same thing. Let go of past mistakes, old grudges, people who just don't belong in our story anymore.
And this breaks it all down into 4 super clear, manageable steps. First, you have to consciously decide that the old chapter is over. Done. Second, close the doors that are leading you nowhere. Third, just take that one first step. You don't need the whole path figured out. And finally, and this is a big one, don't look back. The past is an anchor. Let it go and just keep moving.
Okay, I love this. It's so blunt, but it's so true. That cycle of starting and stopping and starting over again, it is exhausting. The only way to break that cycle is persistence. You have to commit to the journey, especially when it's hard, because that's the only way you'll ever build momentum.
And this really just brings it all home, doesn't it? Where are you going to invest your energy? In the past, which you literally cannot change, or in the future, which is just sitting there, waiting for you to create it? The choice is pretty clear. Your future is counting on you. So let's end on this. What an absolutely incredible thought. No matter what your story has been up to this point, your best days are not in the rearview mirror. They are still out there, waiting for you. The potential for joy, for adventure, for meaning, it's limitless. Thanks for joining me. Now go write that next chapter.